Hello everyone, we are from Mata Rajkor Institute of Engineering and Technology located in Saharanwas, Rewadi. We have engineering college as well as a degree college. In engineering college, we have technical course, Bachelor of Technology and Master of Technology. Along with this technical course, we have professional course, BBA and BCA. And we hope you all are safe at your homes, because this is the hard time. We have all suffered from this pandemic COVID-19, so we cannot come out from our homes. So we have provided a online video tutorial for the course BTech first year. So in BTech first year you have six subjects, and workshop technology is one among of them. So before coming to the topic workshop technology, first of all let us discuss the basics of subject. The subject is from mechanical engineering. It is the basics of mechanical engineering. As the name indicates, workshop technology, it is the combination of theoretical and practical subject. So what is the mechanical engineering? Mechanical engineering is the combination of physics, mathematics and material science to analyze, to design, to manufacture the mechanical system. And before starting, we will cover the scopes. After doing a graduation course in mechanical engineering, what are the career opportunities? So these I have written in the board, that are the some future scopes or the career opportunities after a graduation career in mechanical engineering. So first one is the ISRO. If somebody has a interest in space research organization, then he can join the ISRO, that is Indian Space Research Organization. Then secondly, if somebody has a interest, he want to become a scientist in defense research, then he can join the Defense Research and Development Organization, that is DRDO, as a scientist or as a mechanical engineer. Every year there are vacancy in the ISRO and DRDO for the mechanical engineers. Then third one is the BARC. If you are looking a career in nuclear science, if you have your basic interest in nuclear energy, then you can opt a career with mechanical engineer in the BARC, Bhabha Atomic Research Center. Then if some student has their interest in defense, then you can have a direct SSB without any written test. There is a direct interview for the BTech holders in the pre-final year and final year. They can go into the both of the streams like Army, Air Force, Navy. And after defense, a mechanical engineer has a career opportunity in UPSC, that is Union Public Service Commission. And after Union Public Service Commission, if somebody has a interest to become a administrative officer, so for engineers it is IES. It is the same career as a IAS, Indian Administrative Officer. So here is the Indian Engineering Services. You can prepare for the exam. Then after PSUs means the public sector unit. Our all Navratan companies are the public sector units. If somebody has his basic interest into public sector unit, he can prepare for the PSUs by having a competitive exam, that is known as GATE, General Aptitude Test for Engineers. Then Staff Selection Commission, like your CGL, SSC. And next career opportunity is the industry which are related with the automobiles, manufacturing of something, manufacturing of machines, maintenance of machines, and the design industries, research and development department. And next one is there are huge scope for the mechanical engineers in the railways, metros, and the technical post like junior engineer, sub-divisional officer. These are the post in railways. And in the last, you can have a career option in your state staff selection commission also, like HPSC. You all belong from Haryana or nearby states. Then if you are from Haryana, you can have a career with the state staff selection commission. These are HPSC, Haryana Public Service Commission, and next is Haryana Staff Selection Commission, HSSC, HPSC. There are various technical jobs opening every year in the State Staff Selection Commission. If you want to remain in your local area, if you want to serve your local vicinity, then you can opt out the Staff Selection Commission for your state only. Now come to the subject, workshop technology. So this belongs from the materials. What are the materials? So first of all, we will deal about materials. Every product is made of some material. So there are majorly two materials. One is ferrous and second one is non-ferrous. Ferrous materials, why we call ferrous material? If the major constituent is iron and carbon, these are the major constituents. These are the major constituents. Of course, although there are other metals like sulfur, manganese, chromium, vanadium, tungsten, but the major constituents are iron and carbon. And what are the non-ferrous? In which there is no iron, which do not have iron in its constituents. So we always deal about ferrous metal in our workshop technology, but sometimes non-ferrous are considered as imported materials. Why? Although they are very costly, but due to some properties, due to some good properties, like they have a good property of conductivity of heat, they have a good property of the conductivity of current, they have good shine, good luster, and they are very light in weight. So the non-ferrous and their alloys are used at some points, and at some points the ferrous metals and their alloys are used. So we have classified the ferrous metal and its alloys as it consists iron and carbon. Then it is known as plain carbon steel, because the plain carbon steel has a percentage of carbon up to 1.5%. So if we add more amount of carbon, so this plain carbon steel will become your cast iron. So in plain carbon steel it is restricted to have a percentage of carbon only up to 1.5%. So it is classified further as mild steel, medium carbon steel, high carbon steel. In mild steel, the percentage of carbon is up to 0.3%. In medium carbon steel, the percentage of carbon is up to from 0.3 to 0.7%. Rest of all is iron or some alloy elements like manganese, sulfur, chromium, tungsten. And in high carbon steel, percentage of carbon is up to 1.5%. So once we have a percentage of carbon more than 1%, the material is more tougher and more harder. As the percentage of carbon increases in the iron, then the toughness and hardness will increase. So this is the basic classification of your material for the workshop. Now we will draw a stress strain curve, and then after we will discuss the important mechanical properties of materials. Along your y-axis there is stress, along your x-axis we have taken strain. So there is a workpiece which is applied to the stress. Here is the specimen which is manufactured for the testing of tensile strength. These end parts are being made for clamping into the machine, that is universal testing machine, and this one is the body, and these two parts are its neck. So it is made to have a stress in the opposite direction if we apply a tensile load over this workpiece. So the graph between stress strain is obtained as like this. This one is the graph, and in this graph, if we have started from point O, then first we will reach point A. The region O to A is your proportional limit, that is your stress. Stress is represented by a symbol sigma, and strain is represented by a symbol epsilon. You already have read this topic in your class 10+1 or 10+2. Then after A, the point is B. AB is your elastic zone. Proportional limit means in proportional limit your stress is directly proportional to strain. In elastic zone, that is from A to B, and B to C is your plastic zone, and D is upper yield point where the yielding of material start, and E is lower yield point, and F is the ultimate stress. So before discussing mechanical properties of material, we have to clear the concept of the behavior of workpiece towards the stress strain curve. When we apply stress, what is stress? The resistance of the body, internal resistance of body towards the external deforming force. How we are deforming this workpiece? We have applied two opposite forces. This force is like this. I am deforming this workpiece in this manner. I am pulling the both hands into the opposite directions. So what is happening here? The length becomes increasing more and more. So What is strain? Strain is the percentage of deformation, delta L by L. Delta L is the change in length, L is the original length, so that is the strain. Sigma is equal to P by A or F by A. This is known as F, but due to this F, stress is developed internally into the workpiece, and A is the cross-sectional area. So it is continuously reducing in the size. So when we start elongating this material, we will reach at point A. Up to point A, it follows the relationship Hooke's law, that is sigma is directly proportional to epsilon. Stress is directly proportional to strain. How much stress is there, how much strain is there, that how much stress has been applied. After point A, elastic zone starts. What is elastic zone? Means the material is deformed elastically, but just after removal of load, your part or your material regain its shape and size, original shape and size, just after the removal of load. Then after elastic zone, there is a plastic zone. So it behaves plastically, means if it comes in this zone, then there is a permanent plastic deformation remain permanently even after removal of load, means there is some permanent deformation, some kind of deformation remains always there in the material even after removal of load. And D is upper yield point, where the yielding starts. Yielding means we have done this deforming force constant or we have reduced it, but still there is the elongation in length. It is the internal capacity of the workpiece that it remains in the elongation, it remains in the increasing of its length even when we have not increased the stress. So